I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. I'm broadcasting across multiple platforms. So if you see me looking around, it's because I want to make sure I catch everyone's comments or questions or thoughts. So good afternoon and welcome to my conversation today. Thank you. I see some people joining me. Like, thank you, Bayade, for joining me. So today's conversation is about the millennial mindset. So if you do not know me, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Oinko Akimade. And I'm going to put that here so you know how that looks like. I'm a leadership coach and a confidence and communication strategist. And I help leaders lead boldly and navigate their team with confidence and ease and clarity. And today's conversation is how the millennial mindset can transform them and can make them be great leaders. And why do I want to have this conversation today? Most leaders in large corporations and even in small, medium to smaller businesses are in their 50s and above, late 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. And there's this perception out there that millennials are lazy, entitled, narcissistic. They don't want to get off their backside to work. They want everything simple. They want everything easy. And so I want to have this conversation because they have the kind of mindset that is very necessary today and will help all corporations and businesses thrive and survive even when the current leaders leave. So let me start with some background. First of all, millennials, what are they? They're the 20 somethings to the late 30s. So mid 20s to the late 30s, 38, 39, 40, right? That's the classification of the millennials. Currently, they make up a third of the workforce and they have a spending power that's up to $1 trillion, at least in the US economy. And I'm sure it's the same thing all around the world because the millennials are the current workforce and they're the future leaders of tomorrow. But there is this perception about them that makes them think that millennials are lazy, millennials are narcissistic, they don't want to do anything. And that is far from the truth. We need to change this perception so that we can get what the millennials have. And the millennials, you guys need to know what you have and position yourself so that you are ready to take up the positions. And leaders, I need you to listen to me. If you're leading an organization, if you do not embrace your millennial generation, the emerging leaders that come from them, you would lose them to other corporations that do, and you will probably go extinct because you will not get the advantages of working with this fantastic group of people. So like I said, millennials, they're the third of the workforce and they have the greatest spending power up until $1.4 trillion. That's so many zeros, I can't even count it. So what are these perceptions? And like I said, by 2025, if you think this is something that's a future problem, it's not something that you have to deal with, then you're deceiving yourself. You need to hear me. By 2025, millennials will make up the majority of leadership positions across all industries. They will make up the majority of businesses across all industries. So hear me well. If you want your industry to thrive, if you want your industry to succeed, then you need to know how to tap into the mindset that millennials have, and you need to embrace them. And I'm going to talk about what those mindsets are and how current leaders can help transform all those things. Yes, I see someone on another platform by there telling me, thanks to millennials, we started working from home 5 years ago. So let me go quickly to what we think millennials do, the kind of mindset that they have that makes the older generation look down on them. I'll start with the first one. Millennials believe things should be, excuse my double EB spelling on the other platforms that are watching this. Millennials believe that things should be easier and simpler. And older generations think, they're lazy. I'm going to get into it. Let me just go through the 4 main points I want to share about the millennial mindset and how we can help all businesses. The second thing millennials believe is that they want to see better quality products and services. Older generations see that as being entitled. Let's keep going. We'll talk more about this. The third thing the mindset the millennials want is a better work-life balance. Older generations see them as being lazy and entitled. Let's keep going. The last one I'm going to talk about. Millennials want to see more equity, and older generations think, oh, they're so unrealistic and entitled. They're so unrealistic and entitled. So let's go back to the first mindset that they have. They believe things should be easy. The truth is, every generation wants things to be easy. Now, if you're out there and you want things to be more difficult, type a one. You won't agree to that. You won't want that. Nobody wants anything to be more difficult. So why do you, as an older generation, think that millennials want things to be easy? Is because they want to be lazy. Look at all the innovations we have today. Part of those innovations have made things easier. We're able to connect with people more easily. We're able to enjoy the things that we want more easily. In fact, any business that can make the lives of people easier, any products they sell, any services they offer that can make the lives of people easier is going to sell like no man's business. They're going to make a lot of profit. So why do you look down on that mindset in millennials? You need to capture that mindset, and we can do something about it. So stay with me and we'll talk more about it. The second thing, millennials want a better quality product and better quality services. What's wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong in wanting better quality products. Why do you think it's a sense of entitlement if I want the seats on my car or when I travel to be more comfortable, if I want more legroom, if I want better customer services, if I want things to be better, if I want better quality, why is that a sense of entitlement? The truth is, if we do not innovate, then you'll die. So innovation is to make things better. So why do we see when millennials think that way, we are automatically assume that they want things, they're just being entitled, they just don't want to work hard. No, that is a mindset you want every member of your staff, every member of your team to think about. How do I make things better? How do I make these products better? Now, there's a dearth of soft skills, or so they say. I don't think so. I just believe that there's a lack of confidence and clarity and communication amongst new recruits or younger generation, because the very fact that they want to make things better, make them, problem solve, make them critical thinkers. And these are the things we need to see in them. And that's why we need to know and understand this generation and see how we can engage them. If you're a leader, if you're a chief executive, if you're in a management position, your first job is to see how you can meet the generation, the millennial generation. Listen, the buying power is also with them. So why would you want to stay in the way you think when the buying power is also with the younger generation? Why are you looking down on the consumers, on your end users, instead of engaging with them? That's the question you need to ask yourself, right? Let me go to the third thing because I just want to keep this short. Millennials want a better work-life balance. And automatically, a lot of older generations like, yep, there we go again, lazy. They don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, put in the hard work, and get home at 10 p.m. at night. What does it mean to have a better work-life balance? In fact, you're all looking at this wrong. If you as an organization or a business, you're not looking at how to help your employees have a better work-life balance. Because if your workers are stressed, they will burn out. They will get sick more often. They're not as innovative. Look, a well-rested mind is a mind that can create and think. Now, if you offer healthcare services, if you pay for healthcare services for your staff, do you know how much more you will save by them having a better life that would lead to better health conditions and lower spending? You know how much healthcare costs is, especially if you're in the United States. Even everywhere in the world, if you know how much healthcare costs, if you can limit the cost of healthcare, do you know how much you can save? If you can make your employees feel like they have a better life and they can have a better home where they can also help create, engage, better family dynamics, help their kids do well at school, have time for their kids. Why do you think that will translate into them working better for you? So why do you think that millennials having that mindset is lazy and entitled? We're looking at this. Leaders, you're looking at this all wrong. You need to change how you see the way millennials think. You need to see, and millennials, listen to me. You guys are the future of the workforce. You have the spending power. You need to recognize the value you bring, and you need to know how to position yourself. But that's a conversation for another day. And that's what I teach in my leadership course. I have an 8-week leadership course where I teach people how do you see yourself, how do you position yourself, and how do you turn what you have into an asset, into something that benefits everybody, from your end users to your executive organizations to the people that work for you. You want a win-win-win situation. So millennials wanting a better work-life balance will not in any way hurt your organization if you can transition into it and provide it and balance everything out. And the truth is, that's what this generation wants. So if there are other organizations trying to incorporate that into their organization and you are not, you're going to lose those talents to those organizations. The organizations right now paying for paid paternity leave, that insisting that workers have vacation, and they're seeing the yield, the turnover. They're seeing how it helps their bottom line. So if you're not engaging with your millennials, you're losing your brightest minds. Now, the next thing is, when millennials want to see more equity, people see that as unrealistic. Why should we want equity in pay and all of that? Now, I'm not talking about the politics here, but there's a need for you to see what they want. Because like I said, they are the future leaders. They're going to be the people you're going to have to sell your products and services to. And in today's organization, in today's economy, in today's world, what your company does, you're going to answer for it with your end users, who your suppliers are. If your end users are mainly millennials and they figure out that one of your suppliers have practices that they're not comfortable with, they're going to challenge you. They're going to ask you why, and you must be ready to answer that. You must be prepared. This is the last set of a module I teach in my course, being prepared for today's industry. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to change anything, but understanding what their concerns are and seeing where you can meet in the middle and give the best outcome for everybody should be something current leaders have to take up. If you fail to take it up, you will lose your brightest mind. You will go exit. There's so many organizations that were the biggest and the best organizations to work for, but they failed to evolve. They failed to meet the needs of their current day, and they slowly died. If you doubt me, take Blockbuster. Where's Blockbuster? I remember growing up, Blockbuster was everywhere. It was so exciting to get into a Blockbuster store. You go through all the cases and decide what you want. And I read their story, how Netflix went to make Blockbuster. And one of some of the maybe executives or lawyer, I don't know who in particular, looked at them and said, "Oh no, it can't work." They failed to see what those people in Netflix saw and how they knew that the market was changing. They failed to engage with that younger mind. Where is Blockbuster today? And where is Netflix today? So which kind of organization do you want to be like? Netflix, that embraced the newness, they embraced the streaming. It was new, it was different, but it was a young mind that wanted that. Or Blockbuster that just wanted to stick with the whole old and did not want to relate. Hi, thank you. I can see Tommy joining me. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, put them down. Because really, the mindset of I'm so tired of listening to older generations denigrate the younger ones. Yeah, there are things that need to improve. All generations have issues. All generations have challenges, but no generation is better than the other. Each generation is equipped to deal with their life the best way. But if you want a smooth transition, if you want your legacy to last, if you want your relationships either at work or even at home to last, you must be able to transition between how you see things and how the younger generation see things, because really they're the future. And if you think there's something they're doing they need to be aware of, then you need to let them know. But that conversation cannot happen if you do not engage them. I'll be honest with you, personally, I also sometimes struggle with that, even with my own kids, where they have better ideas. But because I'm stuck in my old days and this is how it's done, and my perception of what I think hard work should be. Get that? What is your perception of how you think hard work should be? If your perception of hard work is how you do it, you're going to get it wrong. Because you need to be smart. You can achieve more if you do it smartly. There's so many innovations. You can imagine in those days when airplanes were being made and people were traveling by air, and if someone said, no, I want to walk hard, I want to walk from Georgia to Florida, or from Manchester to London, or from Lagos to Abuja, you think about that. Would that be stupid if you look at it now? So, what is your perception of hard work? Is it the correct perception, or is it just you trying to put your own idea on someone else without really thinking that is that hard work? The next thing is that the millennial mindset is the key to creativity and innovation. Guys, hear me out. That mindset that you think is lazy, entitled, they are the kind of mindset we need, because it's because of the things they dislike that they want to see a change in, that creates new and better products, that creates new and better services. So you can imagine, if I don't know how Zoom started, but maybe Zoom's vision was, hey, why do I have to go to meetings? Why do I have to drive to a meeting? Why can't I just be at my office and meet with somebody else sometimes, right? Imagine what would the world would have been like in this last 2 years, where we've suffered from the pandemic and everything was shut down and all that, without Zooms. Imagine if Apple did not think of innovating how telephones can be better and that we can see ourselves, and then Android system and all of the systems did the same thing. Imagine if people failed to innovate. I remember when the conversation about electric cars started. Now, obviously, they're not where they should be, because they want better mileage, battery life, and all of that. But imagine if some of the EV industry CEOs, Tesla comes to mind. I know that there's the Ionic, there's the Mach-E, and all of that. If they just believe that, this is impossible, this is unrealistic, we shouldn't go for it, and just look at them as someone that's just playful, lazy, and has nothing to do. No, you need that millennial mindset. You need that creativity in that mindset. You need that mindset. Failure to harness that mindset is a sure banker to failure. So the key for leaders, listen to me. You need to listen to this. The key is to know how to use or help the millennial, or how to embrace those millennial mindset to create the solutions to the problems they see, because that's the problem they see in their generation. Each generation will see problems that they want to solve, and we may not see that because we are solving other problems from our own generation and we just want to make that better, but they are seeing the problems in their own generation and they say, oh, we can make this better. Someone started the telephone, right? Other companies, Apple and all the Nokia and all that, saw and wanted to make it better. Now we have the FaceTime. I don't know what it can be. Maybe they can teleport, but who knows? Sometimes I have this conversation about is it the black hole and all that, and my husband tries to tell me I'm confused. Let's move on, right? But what I'm trying to say is that you need that mindset that wants better, that seeks to be easier. You want that mindset working for you, because they will be the one to revolutionize what you've done. They will be the one to add on to the work you have done. You see, what you have done is important, but it becomes the foundation for the next generation. And when it's their time, what they have done will be the foundation for the Gen Zers. So it is a cycle. We do not need to look down on them. Let me give you an example. Let's make this real. Grubhub was birthed from a desire to order meals. When I was reading about Grubhub, one of the founders, I think his name, I wrote down his name, I didn't want to mess it up. Is it Matt? Oh, I'm not going to mention any names. They were working one night and they wanted to order food. And he said it was just a pain to start searching for, places that were open at that time and to put in their credit card. That's what an older generation would have called this. They're so lazy, they can't put in their credit card. They're so lazy, they can't put in their credit card. But guess what? He saw that as an opportunity. All of a sudden, he realized, you know what? I could create a solution from this problem. From what somebody else would have thought lazy, he created a business that employs many people today. What was supposed to be a lazy, right, is a major company today, a major company that even helped the restaurants that were open during the pandemic to survive. Now, I'm not saying that organizations don't have problems. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the millennial mindset is the mindset that creates innovation, and you should not look down on them. You should not think they're lazy. You should not think that they're entitled. Yeah, sometimes I fall into that, like, oh, I grew up this way, I have to do all of this, and I look at my kids, you have it easy. But they have their challenges too. Another example, when we look at the millennial generation, you see that they want equity, they want to have equity among everyone. Guess what? In my research, I came across no, let me go to this one first. The Airbnb founders, I'll talk about the other one later. The Airbnb founders were broke. And so they decided that to make their rent in San Francisco, which is a very expensive city, they needed to do something different. And they decided to rent out air mattresses in their apartment. Oh my goodness, I have to correct that. Some older generation would have said, oh, that is lazy. They need to get off their backside to work. Right? You say, oh, why don't they get off their backside and work? But guess what? That's how Airbnb started. They started because they were able to see the solution in what they did. If look at Airbnb today, I was traveling to France and I used Airbnb. I've traveled to so many places. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. It's comfortable. My kids can run around. They can go around. That was a creation of someone who thought that how can they make money in a different way? Maybe an older generation would have thought they were lazy. But no. Another one, Matt Mullenweg, one of the founders, or I guess the main founder of WordPress. Almost all organizations that I know use WordPress. But he decided to make WordPress a free service because he wanted people to flourish. Now, that's equity there. He wanted everyone to have at least a level playing ground to make economic gains and be sustainable themselves. Now, they make money in other ways. Don't get me wrong. It's not that businesses should not go about making money, but this idea that the younger generation wants, that sense of equity should not be dismissed as entitled and unrealistic. It can happen. So what he thought about was make this free open source, and then everyone has access. Now you can add on services that people can pay for. So do not in any way despise all of this. Now I'm going to talk about how you can help groom and coach millennials so that they can become the great leaders. First of all, the definition of a leader is anyone who can see a way to do something better and do it. That's the definition of a leader. And can corral or can rally people to follow that person in that vision. That is the definition of a leader. So, what can you do to help the millennial generation become better leaders that can take over from you if you lead organizations, that can make sure that your organization is sustained over time? First of all, here's the first tip I give. Embrace who the millennials are and how they think. Never think that you are smarter than they are. You think differently. I never think that how they think is they're not serious. They haven't seen the world with, they're immature. Yes, some of the thoughts may be immature, but your job as a leader is to groom that person. Your job as a leader is to groom that mindset. Embrace who they are, listen to them, engage with them, converse with them, see how you can help them make good and great of the ideas they have. Do not dismiss them. And sometimes you may not agree with them, but you know what? Sometimes with time, you may see what they're saying makes sense. So that's the first thing you need to do as a leader. Embrace the millennials. If you have millennials working in your organization, don't look at them as burdens. Don't look at them as a pain in the neck. Look at them as the future of your organization with the ability to innovate and create. The second thing you can do as a leader to transform the millennials is to respect them and appreciate what they bring to the table. Everybody deserves respect. I'm telling you, I think one of the greatest problems or one of the greatest challenges we have is that we don't show respect. And sometimes, because we want to help them and want them to be better, sometimes we can come off to them as being disrespectful and lacking and not appreciating what they do. So you must do everything you can to show them respect. How can you do that? Listen to them, engage with them, tell them what you think, listen to what they have to say, ask questions. And that leads me to the next point. Once you respect them and you accept who they are, now you want to challenge them and coach them. It's not enough to have great and lofty ideas. It's not enough to want things to be easy. What can you do to make it easy? How can you turn that thought of discomfort or how can I make it easy into a solution? How can you innovate what you have to solve a problem? If you are thinking like that, a majority of your group or of your age range is thinking like that, and they are the future workforce, the spending power, then it is smart for you to start to think of how you can harness that and create a solution for your generation. And that's how you want to think. So actually want to call younger people where you work. If you work for large organizations, call the younger people and ask them, hey, what do you think? What are the things you think we're missing? What are the things we can't see? What ideas do you have? How do you think we can solve a problem? Are there problems that we are overlooking because we're not in the age range of the people that see the problems? You need to challenge and coach your millennials to be great leaders. Finally, you need to encourage and mentor them to communicate, adapt, and relate with others. Like I said, you cannot share your ideas if you cannot communicate it. Whether we like it or not, we'll always have multiple generations at every lifetime. You always have the older and the younger. And you must be able to communicate across those generations. You would always have that. That's one of the challenges I know millennials have in today's workforce. Sometimes there's that communication gap between the older generation and the younger generation. So you need to say that, you know what, I need to bring this person on my side. Because right now, as a millennial, you may have the ideas but lack the resources or the funding. And you may need that older generation to help you walk through that or to provide the funding, for example. So your ability to explain your ideas, to see how it can benefit the organization. For example, you had this idea that there should be a better work-life balance. How are you going to share that idea with the CEOs and the shareholders? How can you connect it to say that, okay, if I want a better work-life balance, what does that do for me? And how can that help my organization? And how can I translate that to the executives so that they see what I mean? So millennials, you have to learn to position yourself. And leaders, current leaders, CEOs, managers, you need to ask that of your millennials. When they come to you with a suggestion or with a complaint, sometimes it looks like they're complaining to you. Let them problem solve it. Teach them to problem solve it, to come up with ideas and to back their ideas, because every business must be profitable, right? So you cannot entertain an idea that would not be profitable. You can't entertain an idea that will not be profitable. So you need to know how you can tell them, hey, I want you to show me how this will be profitable for this organization. Because if it is not profitable for my organization, I won't be able to pay you. So everything must go along. And this is how you must think as a leader with a millennial, rather than seeing their complaints and concerns as, oh, entitled, difficult to work with, lacking soft skills. You want to show them how, or direct them and compensate them. Thank you. I see one of my cousins out there saying nice one. Thank you. And I hope, this is helpful for you as well. You want to see how you can help them and encourage them to communicate, to relate it, and to make it a business. How can this profit the business? So in all, as leaders, if you're in your 50s, your 60s, 70s, you lead organizations, you're in the position of authority, and you have millennials working with you, your job as a leader is to bring up the next generation, is to hand over to the next generation, is to provide a smooth transition to the next generation. And this can't happen if you do not engage with them, if you don't appreciate them, if you not challenge them. If you see something you feel that will be truly helpful for them, let them know. Let them know. And to my millennials listening to this, guys, you've got to position yourself. There's so much value you bring that when you don't even know how to relay these values, then no one can see how it can be helpful to them. Relate what you have. Show the older generation who, in a lot of situations, are in position of authority to say yes or no, or to back your funding or to back your proposal. Show them why it's good business to listen to how you think, to follow your mindset. And now, if you're a millennial, that you're an emerging leader, and you're wondering, how can I get this done? This is so true. I have so much to give. I have struggles, channeling this ideas, innovating, and making my, my supervisors, my executives, the CEO, the shareholders see this. Then reach out to me, send me a message. I have a current program going on that will start at the end of October. And it's a leadership confidence training program. And what this program does for you is to help you become more confident and share that expertise and relate it to everybody and make you more effective. So if you want to be a better leader, check this out. You can send me a message and I'll let you know more about it. But I hope that with these tips, really, that you see your millennials, the 20 somethings to the late 30s, as an asset, because they truly are. They are the leaders. By 2025, they will be leading many generations, many corporations, and many organizations. You must know how to, you must coach them, you must mentor them. Don't look at them as a problem. So I know with these tips, they will be helpful to you. I will be looking out for comments. I got to run nights a little bit over 30 minutes. But if you have any comments, any questions, if you want, reach out to me, put a comment down, send me a private message, and look at this. But I need all large corporations, all executives, senior executives, to know that their duties as leaders is to bring up the ones coming behind them to become better leaders so that their organizations thrives and continues. Failure to do so can be detrimental to the organization as a whole. So I'm very passionate about this. And parents, if you're a parent and maybe you're looking at this, you need to understand that the way you see your children should not be that one of, oh, an entitled generation. I know this is not what, but really, a leader is first of all a child of somebody, right? And so let's parent them to learn how to turn those questions and concerns into problems that are solvable. And as parents, we need to listen to. But I'm not going to go into that. I think that's a conversation for another time. I'll be signing off now. Like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, please put it down in the comments. Follow me on all the social media platform. I know I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe, and we'll have more of these conversations. I'll see you in my next live stream next week. Have a good rest of the day. God bless. Bye-bye.